Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, yesterday I dropped a little teaser out there. I started talking about the Super Bowl halftime show yesterday. And I mentioned how this stuck in my head. I'm going to tell you guys about how all this came to be. I came to be on Facebook about 2, 3 in the morning, the morning after the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl had just ended a few hours earlier. And I came across some posts on Facebook, angry posts about the Super Bowl halftime show. And one of the quotes, specific quotes, was they are taking over. So this was the little teaser I left in yesterday's video. This morning, I kind of forgot about that. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about that today or not. And this morning, I came across more stories on the Super Bowl halftime show, not quite related to that, but it made me ponder why this specific group of people on Facebook were so angry. All right, let me start at the beginning. Let me start about today's stories. Charlie Kirk. Even Republicans are making fun of this guy. The link will be down below. He put out a tweet talking about the Super Bowl halftime show, and he said that it was sexual anarchy. It's a quote, Charlie Kirk, sexual anarchy. And it should not be on TV. Should not have been put on TV. This was so off base because even Republicans made fun of him on this. I saw a joke saying this might be the one thing that actually brings Republicans and Democrats, kind of bridges the gap back from Trump, the far right Trump land that they've all kind of wandered off to. That this might be something to bridge the gap. Okay, so as I read this, I don't think looking at Charlie Kirk's big pasty potato head, I don't think he watched the Super Bowl. After seeing that tweet, I don't think he watched the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm guessing he saw a picture of Mary J. Blige and he's got to look at her thighs and he overheated or something. There was a great comeback from AOC too, saying, "See, weirdos." You guys, if you guys know other posts from AOC, you'll know exactly what she's referring to. All right. And then I saw there'll be another link down below on how the Super Bowl halftime show has finally put the Generation X and Generation Yers to bed. And, the people like me. And this was a Super Bowl halftime show for the millennials. And it talked about how millennials, when they went to high school, to college, from 1985 on up, were born in 1985 and on up, like they went to high school and to college in the 90s and 2000s. This is the stuff they listened to, just like we listened to Ozzy. And yesterday, I didn't even realize. I mean, I don't know if it's being an artist or it's just my personality, but I've always been progressive in music and in everything. I'm not somebody that just sits and talks about the good old days of, I love Ozzy. That was one, I remember sleeping out for his tickets on a ice cold January New Haven sidewalk all night long for Ozzy tickets when I was 14 years old. But I move on. I've been listening to like 21 Pilots. I don't know, all sorts of stuff. I like rap. I like everything. All right. So anyway, I tune into Facebook. Now, let me fill you in on this. I got about 5 different Facebook profiles. I didn't do this intentionally to spy on people. It initially started back when I was dating Audrey because of her whole family and my family. We're mostly Trump supporters. And a lot of the stuff I was coming out with every day, a lot of angry stuff, complaining about what was going on in the Trump presidency. This was back around, between 2016 and 2020. And me and Audrey sat down and talked, and it was causing a lot of problems. So I said, you know what? And I kind of understood her position because my family and her family were posting stuff about birthdays and vacations. And then there'd be a post from me talking about BLM or anti-F and all this other stuff. And my post didn't really fit in. So I decided to make up some other profiles where I could talk more with other people about politics and then, kind of have a politic profile and a family a relationship profile. And that's how it all started. And then I got banned from Facebook a few times, and I created a few more profiles. And those I don't really usually go on. Okay, enough about that. So just by coincidence yesterday, I came across some apps about finding out how you could see what people are looking at your profiles on Facebook. It was just an advertisement. It got my attention, so I clicked on it. And I started going through my different profiles to see who was looking at my different profiles. And nothing big there, but what was more interesting to me, I hadn't been on these profiles in a while. And a lot of these profiles, like one of these profiles, was just people from high school, people, say, from my age kind of on up. People that graduated in 84, 83, 82, 85. People between 55 and 60. That this basically was that profile. Not all people I went to school with, but basically people of that age. And almost all of them were Caucasian. The main profile I use now, I have about 1,100 friends. The profile I use every day. And it's more the political, it's kind of bridged the gap. I finally have one profile that I settled on that has both my current friends, my current family, and people I talk about politics. So I've kind of took the rhetoric down just a little bit on Facebook so I could have kind of one Facebook profile. But anyway, so I was on one of these older profiles and I saw these posts, these angry posts right after the Super Bowl. Now, the more I thought about this, a lot of these people probably hadn't gone to bed yet. I had just gotten up at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. actually. And a lot of these people hadn't gone to bed yet, and they probably had a few drinks in them, and a lot of the truth was probably coming out. And there was a lot of angry posts, and I didn't post anything because I didn't want to be noticed. And a lot of it talked about they are taking over. They did not like the halftime show. They didn't like the rap. They talked about a country music. I can't even remember who it was. I'm not familiar with country music singers, but why wasn't it a Springsteen or this guy or that guy? And it said they are taking over. And then one post mentioned Obama. So it led me to believe what these guys were talking about was African Americans. And then another post said that he's sick and tired of seeing they were using the term BLM instead of African Americans, I believe. And they said, I'm sick of seeing the whole BLM and gay stuff on it's all you see in commercials and on TV these days. I don't watch any of that crap anymore. They just talk about Fox News. And I couldn't believe the complaints. So when I tuned into the news this morning, I didn't realize there was such a generational gap, because with me, I loved Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Mary J. Blige. Like I said, I've always been progressive, so I didn't give it any second thought that this might have been a generational thing. But I don't think it was, because like I said, there was a lot of references to BLM, and I think this was just another way to say African Americans. So a lot of people were upset with the halftime show and it being rap. And it wasn't the music they were upset about. These people were complaining because they feel that African Americans want to take over the country. That's the gist. That's the general overall feel. That's not what I believe. But just for YouTube algorithms, that is not what I believe. But that's the overall feeling that I got. And not just that, but the whole progressive thing. Like they also talked a lot about the LGBTQ community and how they keep seeing two women together, like female couples or male couples in commercials. And they're very upset about this. So that's what I was referring to. And they are taking over. And it just blows my mind that some people actually believe this, that people of color are trying to take over the country. All right, so that explains that. You guys have a great Tuesday. I'll be back later with another video.